All right. What could go wrong?
So I was 11 when you started the company, but you're but you're not that much older. Like you weren't that much older. Like what is the take me all the way back
I
to
guess
the
that's true.
Take me all the way back to the moment where you're like, I want to do this.
Yeah. There's a funny thing for like a lot of my life. When people would ask me, like, how did this start? I'd be like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I just started making games, and it seemed like it was fun, and I kept doing it. And when I really started thinking back to my childhood, like I've been obsessed with how like rules can change human behavior, and how you can all agree to play a card game by a certain set of rules. And the adults that I was observing, as a kid they could play cards all night and laugh and, interact in whatever way that they did. And yet you could take a different set of rules, for example, a set of rules that a 5-year-old made with the best of intentions. And the adults would nod and laugh, but they would only play that game for, 3 minutes. And that has always fascinated me. And I realized looking back on it that I've been doing that my whole life, and it irritated my friends, and they didn't want to play. I mean, because we start as a game designer and you suck. You're terrible. Your games are horrible. I mean, they're not even games. They're just, it's almost, you're just a little tyrant trying to get people to do things. And I remember I probably spent weeks building this really complex pen and paper adventure game on index cards. And I'd drawn pictures of monsters and everything like this. And I remember finally getting, a friend to play it at school, and it was the first dice roll, some creature killed his character or something. It was just the worst possible, outcome. And I was I was in 4th grade or something. But some kids look at the garbage truck and are like, that big, powerful machine. That's what I want to be. But to me, it was the deck of cards. I want to know how to control that. That power to build an experience that when people come into it, they leave with a smile on their face or more connected to the people around them. Yeah, I've been doing that forever. It's kind of crazy. Way before computers. And then of course, right, I saw games on computers and I was like, wow.
My perception, based on all of our time together, has actually been you are more interested in the making of them in a bunch of ways than playing them. Playing games isn't it's not an explicit hobby of yours. You're educating yourself. It's more work, but it's you're always making stuff.
Yeah, I think this is true, and I feel a little bit guilty about it sometimes, because I think it is the most dangerous thing as a designer to enjoy the making more than the playing, right? Because the number of things you can enjoy making is infinitely larger than the number of things that you can enjoy playing, right? Much less other people can enjoy playing. And so, yeah, what you say is true. And I feel like it's sort of an addiction that I've had to fight so that I make things that are worthwhile. Because it's, the whole shtick to me is about, touching other people somehow.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about kind of the origin. I want to jump ahead again. I want to jump to my life, 2004. I remember I finished the campaign for Halo 2, and my friends and I got distracted a bunch by the multiplayer, and I finished it the same night I finished Metal Gear 3. And after I finished both of those games, I went and watched this Vidoc, the documentary that I look at now, and I met a bunch of y'all, and I'm like, oh, I didn't pick up on all the human suffering in this documentary the first time I watched it.
Do I get to sign your?
No. Do you remember this?
I looked for it actually before I came in today. I don't think I have it anymore.
You don't?
Yeah, no, I remember the sweatshirt.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what is this from? What is this actually? I've wondered this. What is this? It was just what?
Yeah, it said Osiris on it. I thought it looked cool, and yeah, I bought it. I have no idea. Sadly. Right. Yeah, I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, I still, to this day, I remember the sweatshirt, right?
Yeah,
and this is this moment that I became aware that humans make these things, because otherwise it was magic, right? There's nothing in there's nothing in 2004 about look at these developers making stuff that you care about. That's not like, there wasn't really much of like the internet sucked too. Like you didn't have like, look, you can access these people and none of that. It was a totally different time. So I'm watching this documentary and this dude shows up and so the paraphrase is like, it's like the cynical gamers who something doesn't grab us in 5 minutes, we're gonna turn it off. And it was like I was like, oh my god, it's like I was spoke to, and I have like I'm like an English degree, like I can't make games, I couldn't write any couldn't write code or anything. I just remember feeling as like a player, like super duper spoke to in that moment. And so we come out of the building a game, like building it by yourself, and talk now about like the team has changed. Like building teams has changed. Like the way you think about building teams has changed. The way like in the however many years I've been at Bungie now, in the fifth, like the way the company approaches building teams have changed. So all the way back to Halo 2, like building the team for Halo 1 and Halo 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think if like past Jason was here, he would disagree with a lot of stuff that I'm going to say, but I think compared to the intentionality that we, try, sometimes exhibit, know we should have about building teams and how important teams are. Back then, it was almost just this, snowball that was rolling downhill of people who, liked our games and came to the company, and then snowball rolled a little faster, and it was just a bunch of people trying to do their best, trying to recreate the feelings that they had, when they played games. And you can get pretty far on passion and talent, but it sometimes makes things really hard when you're not being thoughtful about the organization of the team, the design of the product relative to the resources and time you have. And yeah, it made Halo 2 super challenging for a bunch of reasons, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that's, and past Jason would tell me, like, you're an idiot. We were thinking about all that stuff. You just had to learn. But like, when I look back, like he wasn't thinking about that stuff, What
was he thinking about?
I mean, he was just thinking about the game. But I mean, I don't know. I think my past self is like not really that sharp because I mean, every year we've learned so much, I feel. And so I look back and I think that, that guy must be an idiot. Because look at all the stuff I learned just this year on Halo 1. Like I didn't know anything. But I go back and I found one of the notebooks from Halo 1. Like that guy wasn't an idiot. Like, I mean, there's stuff that, he didn't know, but there's a lot of like super interesting exploration and thought and like possibilities that, didn't end up at the game in there. And so I don't know what to make of that, because I feel like I've learned so much, but when I go back, I'm sort of like blown away by what was happening in my mind.
Trabajando, así que va a ser un toque difícil ver esto.
It's pretty embarrassing when I think about I think about my life in terms of decades and like what are like the big lessons from the decades. And when I like articulate one of the like a lesson from my 30s, it's like so embarrassing. Give me one from yours.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I started Destiny 1 not understanding the value of having at least somebody on the team who cares more than anybody else about what the team is missing, what the team isn't admitting, who on the team isn't talking to each other, where on the team is our dreams incompatible with the calendar, or our dreams incompatible with our ability, or our dreams incompatible with the hardware that we need to run on.
Traducir
I
algunas
saw
cosas,
production
es que me da tiempo
as
porque
a calendar and a schedule.
un toque full por la chamba.
And
Pero
it's
al menos vamos a
true that
intentar
a
hacer
schedule
llevar
is
esto adelante. Igual gracias
a
por darse
thing
una
that
vuelta por
you
acá.
use to sort of test
Básicamente están
people's
hablando, pues, ¿no?
understanding of
Como su
reality,
paso por
in
Bungie,
the
lo que
sense
los
of,
inspiró
can the things we want to do fit in the time that we
a
think we
entrar al
have,
mundo de los
and how are we
videojuegos,
tracking
a
against that?
inspirarse por lo del
But
tema
I saw it
de
as like an end in
la creación de
itself, and
personajes,
of course
etcétera.
it irritated me, and I, didn't pay attention to it. But God, like embracing all that stuff is a thing that will be, front and center in anything that I do. Anything I do in the future. I think it's making sure everyone on the team has an objective understanding of reality and doing anything you can to fix it when that isn't true. I didn't understand that when I started Destiny 1. Destiny 1 made me understand that.
So What I want to talk about now is where computers are heading. Where's it going?
AR is going to be the thing that displaces mobile. Like I'm so sure of that. I'm so sure we're all going to be wearing glasses, and all the TVs are going to go in a landfill. All those companies are going to go out of business. All the cracks in our ceiling are going to get fixed in our glasses. Like so many people are going to end up with virtual pets and windows out to the Taj Mahal or the Eiffel Tower, and maybe it'll be 20 years. Like I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that, and I think it's going to be really interesting. And when it happens, like the reason that you're going to know it's going to take over the whole world is everybody's going to laugh at it. Like everybody's going to think it's ridiculous. When the iPhone, came out, the stuff people were saying to like not admit that they were holding like a chunk of the sun in their hands that was going to change the world. Like the stuff people said was ridiculous. And people are going to do that again. And the other interesting thing about AR is if you have AR, you have to have local compute because you need high frame rate. You need to be able to render all kinds of crazy stuff like right there, like, within 2 feet of your body. Yeah, which means I think all the cloud computing stuff totally going to happen, absolutely going to be a thing. But we're not going to transition fully to, thin client. But yeah, those would be my 2 predictions. Local compute never goes away. AR displaces mobile, like 100%.
So on a long enough horizon, how are we going to get ready for that?
Acá dicho que básicamente el futuro es en mobile, la realidad aumentada,
it's a great
etcétera.
question, and
La realidad virtual también.
I think
Así
I
que
think the
lo más
answer
probable
is
es que
like we are.
próximos
We
años
already
trabaje en
are.
algo
Like,
de
I don't
Destiny
think what's going to happen is there's going to be a whole new slew of games that can only happen in AR. I mean, there's definitely going to be some, but I think in a lot of cases, what's going to happen is people are going to, throw away their TV and have a way bigger TV, or they're going to go to a totally virtual space that has a bigger, screen, and they might play some tabletop or strategy games in a different way. But I think people are always going to be playing first-person shooters, with some kind of input device on like a virtual, window in their visual field. And so I think a bunch of the stuff that we're great at doesn't, get tipped over by this.
Thing we're great at, right? So let's go all the way back. Bungie games, someday. Not the company's still there, but I think a lot about my life through the lens of what would go on my tombstone. I just do. I think it's like completely busted. I don't think it's like a thing a normal, like reasonably sane human being would do. But I think it's a simple way of summarizing your existence, and it's the acknowledgement that these existences sometimes come to an end. The question I want to ask is about Bungie's epitaph. What is that simple distillation of what Bungie is? The tombstone-worthy distillation.
I was on the 271 coming back across the bridge home, one night on the bus, and these 2 guys in front of me were talking, at first about college. Like they were older, but they'd obviously like gone to college together, and I think they worked together. And at some point they started talking about Halo, and I think it was Halo 2 for them. And they weren't really talking about how much Halo meant to them. They were talking about, and they weren't really talking about how much they meant to each other, but that's what they were doing, is they were sharing those stories of, where they were and what they were doing and how they were feeling. And, that moment, that's like still keeping me going. I mean, that might fuel me for the rest of my life. And it's not the only time that's happened, but you get a few of those, and, that's all I want. It's just people sharing memories in an experience that, wouldn't have existed without, you bleeding buckets of blood into the, whatever code or design or something like that. That's what, 2 people having an experience that they wouldn't have had, if you hadn't created, what you created. Like that's, I don't know. That's what matters. That's what matters to me.
Ya, un minuto.
We're done.
didn't like the trailer, huh?
This is what I brought you here to see.
Beyond light!
Stasis is just a tool.
It's an ice tornado, dude.
That was the sickest thing I've ever seen.
I'm in space! It's freaking Aldrin! Bow. No.
What the heck?
What's those baby falling? They're so cute! No. Let's go first. Together, we are enough.
I'm gonna shoot you with 6 anarchies. You're gonna sprint at that Gorgon. Run. Godspeed, little doodle. Run.
8, 7.
Welcome, Guardians. This year, we're celebrating our journey with you, whether you joined us 30 years ago or if it just started today. This game is in our blood. The Destiny team is full of Destiny fans. Folks who came here because Destiny was their favorite hobby. Folks who log out from work in the evening and log in to play with their clan.
The team we have today is committed to relentlessly upgrading this game that we all love. We aren't happy with just another mission. Instead, we want to push the limit of quality you can expect in an action MMO with uniquely Destiny experiences like Expunge and Presage. We are committed to delivering the best mission content that you can play in any game with a friend and having the best feeling action game, period.
And this shows through in the passion that we see for Destiny 2. Since we declared independence 2 years ago, the Destiny community has grown by over 20 million new players, and it continues to grow faster than we ever could have predicted. We're grateful to be a part of this amazing growing community that you all have created. You represent Destiny. You help make it better every year, and you are so welcoming and supportive of every new Guardian that sets foot in the tower.
And only a handful of us are going to be up here today. Most of them are in their homes, at their desks, working hard to bring the next part of Destiny to life. It's a huge honor representing such an incredible team and introducing the next chapter of Destiny 2. So, without further ado, this is the Witch Queen.
Vamos.
Truth is a funny thing. Does it live in the world or in the mind? Is it constant or can it be bent? Who decides what is true? In this universe of light and dark, there is no greater power. Tell me, little lights, what is your truth now?
El 22 de febrero del próximo año. Bien.
Oh my god, James. Savathun is serious. I think she's the most dangerous villain we faced yet.
7 years we've been building up to this moment, and she is finally stepping into the spotlight and showing us who she really is. what we know about light and darkness is proving to be way more complex than what we previously thought. There are so many lies, truths, and revelations that we're going to get to in The Witch Queen and the year leading up to it. I mean, we're paying off these narrative threads that go all the way back to Destiny's origins, and we're supporting it with the best content that Destiny has to offer.
Definitely, and we've got a lot of awesome content to show today. And let's start with the most mysterious destination yet.
Yeah. Savathun's Throne World. This is an uncharted wonderland of secrets and lies. It's this place that she's created in her own image, this surreal and majestic, light-blessed world. She has this castle that she rules from. It overlooks this dark, swampy underbelly with this lone pyramid ship out there. It's the future world she wanted to create, built atop the darkness that she left behind.
And Throne Worlds, they're a deep part of Destiny lore. Powerful entities create these pocket universes, and when we're there, we have to play by their rules.
But now, our own light powers are being used against us. I mean, she has this whole army of Hive that she's ascended to the light and brought along with her. These are the Hive Guardians, and they are the backbone of her new army.
We've talked a lot. Let's show a little. Let's take the first ever look at the Witch Queen gameplay.
Ya, por fin, gameplay, vamos a ver.
Savathun, the Witch Queen. Hive god of cunning and lies. After the death of her brother Oryx, Savathun went into hiding. Not out of fear, of course, but out of strategy. In her greatest trick yet, stealing our most sacred resource. The one thing we thought she could never touch.
Savathun se robó la
The
luz.
light.
¿Qué? ¿Estás diciendo que la colmena ahora... La colmena ahora va a usar poderes de la luz? ¿Qué?
I cannot wait just to reach out and just crush a Hive ghost in my hand.
Yeah, I mean, we've been defined by the light for so long. This is uncharted territory for us. I mean, we're in strange new places. Like, the Throne World, it's haunting, but it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. There's a lot to love. There's a few things we saw in the trailer that we haven't talked about yet.
Savathun and her Lucent Brood. This is the biggest threat Guardians have faced yet, so we need to find new weapons to match their power. The Glaive. I love this thing. It's brutal and elegant. It's this new energy weapon with melee abilities, mid-range projectiles, and defensive capabilities. It's our first ever first-person melee weapon, and it is such an awesome tool for the battlefield.
The Glaive feels so good. Just jump in and unleash these brutal melee combos and transition right to an energy blast. It's really powerful and has a lot of utility.
So, we've told you about what the Glaive can do. Now let's talk about how you're going to get your hands on one. These weapons don't come out of chests at the end of missions, and you're not going to find one roaming around the Throne World. Your first Glaive is not going to be found. It's going to be built.
Yes, weapon crafting is coming to Destiny 2.
Vamos a poder fabricar
Now,
nuestras
chasing
armas.
weapons has been an integral part of the Destiny Pursuit
bien.
games since the beginning. And over the years, we've added more deterministic paths to get the rolls that you want on guns. Think things like Umbral Engrams and the Raid Chest.
Weapon crafting unlocks the freedom to choose all that and more. It gives us ultimate control over the guns. Now, this is a combat-focused crafting and progression system. That means the more you use these weapons, the more objectives you complete with them, the more you'll level them up, and the more powerful they grow over time. And at launch, here's the awesome thing. You'll be able to craft all Throne World weapons, new raid weapons, and the seasonal weapons. There's just a ton of stuff to do in this system. And the Witch Queen is just the beginning of weapon crafting. We have plans to add more craftable weapons, both legacy and new, throughout the year.
We've seen and we've talked about a lot of really cool features, but let's get right into the meat of it. Let's talk about the Witch Queen campaign.
Vamos a ver la historia de la campaña.
I
Todavía falta
love
un montón.
campaigns. They've always been a cornerstone of the Destiny experience. They're rich, deep stories interwoven with big combat sequences and memorable characters. They take us to remote worlds in our ever-changing universe. And so we're putting extra care into the campaign for the Witch Queen. We want you to feel those goosebumps when you step onto the throne world for the first time and come face to face with Hive Guardians.
And every one of the missions has its own unique fantasy. Like, what does it feel like to storm a castle or just go straight into the depths of hell?
If you like games with standalone campaigns like Doom, Titanfall 2, God of War, and Halo, then the Witch Queen is for you. So, in addition to our classic normal mode, Legendary is our tougher, aspirational version of the campaign, where the enemies hit harder and respawning is heavily restricted. So every battle is a gut punch. Every boss is a worthy adversary. It's gonna hurt. You might tap out, but if you persist and you get to the end, your time will be well rewarded.
Whether you want to play solo or with a fire team, the difficulty will scale based on how many people you bring. Before we go, one last trip down memory lane. I remember camping out the Predator for Destiny 1 because I just had to have the Ghost. To me, it was like the symbol of destiny. And if you care about that stuff like me, you're going to want to get your hands on the Collector's Edition because you're going to get a Hive buddy to go up on the shelf with it.
Wow, that was so cool.
Oh,
I'm so excited for this one. And that's not even everything that's in there, too.
I know. Those are the hero items, and they're, I think, one of the best ones that we've ever done. Collector's editions have always been like this really perfect jumping point to enter the worlds that we build, and actually lifting like in-world objects and putting them in players' hands is just, it's just a good feeling.
We don't just put random items. Everything in there means something, and it helps push the narrative. And there might be some puzzles to unlock in there as well.
So at this point, you can see Savathun has been one of our greatest threats, operating behind the scenes for years.
You may have heard of her brother, the Taken King, but Savathun is the most dangerous being we've ever faced. She's cunning, elusive, she works in the shadows, so in a way, Savathun is new to all of us.
Exactly, and now it's time to finally see this legend reveal herself and change the Destiny universe forever.
But when we talk about the overarching story of Destiny, we don't just mean the plot lines or characters that feature release to release.
Narrative is a guiding force in Destiny, and we're calling on its rich history of world building, bringing that to the forefront and growing it in a bold new direction. So when you join the game today, you'll experience an immediate call to action alongside millions of your fellow Guardians.
During this past year, we watched the results of your actions play out across Destiny's seasonal releases. You've redeemed old foes, brought former enemies to the bargaining table, learned that there's always more than one side to every story, and built alliances no one ever thought possible.
And on the largest scale, you'll experience a vast, living, interconnected world of stories that's striving to a greater end.
We need you, Guardian.
You'll experience this alongside a massive community of Guardians, release after release, together. This is our universe's cosmic purpose. This 10-year journey we've been on since Destiny 1, it's drawing to its dramatic conclusion. The Light and Darkness saga will end. But make no mistake, Destiny 2 will not. We're building not so much to an ending, but more to this transformative moment for Destiny 2's future.
Last year, we announced The Witch Queen and the following expansion, Lightfall.
And now we're excited to announce the release after Lightfall, the final chapter in the Light and Darkness saga, Destiny 2, the final shape. It's going to be one wild, continuous ride.
Yes, and that ride starts with Season of the Lost. Not only is it the prologue to The Witch Queen, it's your first opportunity to interact with Savathun. But rather than spoil it for you, why don't we take a look?
If we are to survive the coming storm, the tower and the dreaming city must stand united. We are surrounded. A ring of spears pointing inward from the edges of our system. The Witch Queen is no less dangerous now than she has ever been. We must uncover whatever secrets she knows with the time that we have. Relight the pathways of the Ascendant Plane and guide my people back to me. There is
This is great. Anyone want a hug? Hugs? No? No hugs.
How do you follow that? Wow, 30 years. And I remember when Halo first launched, and my friends and I completed the entire campaign in a single epic play session. And as the credits rolled, I knew that Bungie had transformed console gaming forever, and that I would be a lifelong fan.
Yeah, it changed how we played games too. I remember getting together with friends for Halo weekend LAN parties. We had so much fun. And 30 years of Bungie games is something special. It's something worth celebrating together. So we're gonna have a party in Destiny 2.
Starting this December, we are launching the Bungie 30th Anniversary Celebration in Destiny 2. Free for all players, the 30th Anniversary Celebration will offer a new 6-player matchmade activity, secrets to unravel, and rewards that commemorate our long and storied history together.
And that's just the beginning. In addition to the free event, players can also purchase the Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack that includes a new treasure-themed 3-player dungeon set on the Cosmodrome within the fabled Loot Cave. Players will plunder its depths to discover an exciting new Thorm-inspired armor set and fan-favorite Destiny 1 weapons like Izaluna and Thousand Yard Stare. It even has the Claymore sword from Myth.
Purchasing the pack unlocks a range of awesome Bungie-themed armor ornaments and cosmetics to collect, including ornament sets inspired by the Bungie 30th Anniversary Celebration and Marathon. But the dungeon holds one more secret. The crown jewel of its weaponry is a Destiny 1 classic. Gjallarhorn is making its long-awaited debut in Destiny 2.
We're going to take its iconic status to the next level. Galley has been carefully updated for the Destiny 2 sandbox.
So, this December, join your friends and collect exclusive rewards during the Bungie 30th Anniversary Celebration.
But the party isn't only happening in Destiny 2. We've partnered with Nerf Limited to create a functional, dart-firing Gjallarhorn. We'll have more on that soon.
And that's not all. Here's a look at some of the incredible loot we've made over the years and a sneak peek of what's coming up.
¿Qué paja?
Wow, Lorraine, I can't believe we're celebrating Bungie's 30th anniversary.
30 years.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, look, think of all the games and products that have come out over these years.
Yeah, starting Operation Desert Storm, Pathways into Darkness, Marathon, Myth, Oni, Halo, and Destiny. 7 years of Destiny. It's an amazing journey.
So excited. You know, we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up and a lot of other things in the works, of course, as always. But
yeah.
I mean, what do we have? We have the Fallen Captain statue, which is incredible.
And then we have the helmet.
Yeah.
And my favorite, the Arcadia jump ship.
Yeah, I get goosebumps just thinking about that. You know, it really gives me that nostalgia from Destiny 1. And so I think it's a great way we're going to celebrate not only Bungie's 30-year heritage, but the 7-year heritage of Destiny.
Yeah.
And it definitely gives you the feels.
Thank you for being on this journey with us, whether it started this year or 30 years ago.
We've just started talking about the Witch Queen today. You've got our first peek at weapon crafting, our definitively Destiny campaign, the glaive, and a year full of updates to all our light-based subclasses. All of this and more is coming alongside Savathun's long-awaited arrival front and center to the Destiny universe. The Witch Queen marks an acceleration in our story heading towards the conclusion of the Light and Dark saga, and we're so excited for everyone to join us on this epic adventure in the Witch Queen, Lightfall, the final shape, and beyond.
And the Witch Queen's gonna kick off another amazing year of Destiny with 4 great seasons packed with all of the narrative, events, and rewards that you've come to expect from us. But there's even more coming next year than just our new seasons. the deluxe edition of The Witch Queen will also include 2 brand new dungeons to be released in 2022. And we're also going to be remastering another classic Destiny 1 raid and releasing it free for all.